It's time now for Fort Leboeuf Bison football coverage on the sunny 105.7 Corry Federal Credit Union Sports Stream. Visit sunny1057fm.org for all of the action all season long. Brought to you by the Corry Federal Credit Union at corryfcu.org.
Additional support comes from Brozell Construction, Family Inc. Innovations, Leboeuf Creek Cattle, Waterford Beverage, Wagon Wheel Bar and Grill, High T Fence Systems, O'Brien Transmission, J.H. Napa Auto Parts, Jim Brozell Construction, Wise Physical Therapy, and Al's Appliance Sales and Service.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Corry Federal Credit Union pregame show for the Fort Leboeuf Bison playing against the Fairview Tigers in Fairview. I'm Ben Brozich here with Doug Gilghrist to help bring the game to you tonight. How are you doing, Doug?
Great. Glad to be back.
So, what are some of the highlights that you saw that we need to prepare for going in to face Fairview tonight?
Well, Fairview's coming off of a 19-7 victory over Seneca last week, which was their first win in 5 games. They had a 4-game losing streak coming into last week. And their running back, Caden Odak, last week gained over 200 yards. He had 27 carries on 206 yards last week, which was a big change from the rest of the year. The rest of the year, coming into that game, he only had 133 total yards. So he's going to be a big key for the Fort Leboeuf defense. They can stop him and not let him go off for his 200 yards. On the Fort Leboeuf side, Skylar Sadowski has been just a beast all year. He needs 212 yards to hit 1,000 yards for the season. So, he's got an outside. He already has 1 game over 200 yards this year. So he's got an outside shot at going over 1,000 this year. I think whichever team runs the ball the best is going to come out on top.
I have to agree. When I was looking at the data and the stats here, rushing yards per game, Fort Leboeuf averages 208 a game. Fairview's averaging 113. And that seems to be the big difference. Passing yards a game, even though they've been rotating quarterbacks here in Fairview, they're averaging 94 yards a game, and Fort Leboeuf is averaging 95.7. What I think really is going to make the difference, though, isn't just the running game and, of course, the offensive line, but I look at the defense, and I see tackles per game. Fairview averages 73.5 tackles a game, where Fort Leboeuf is averaging 35.3 tackles a game. What that tells me is that Fairview can't get off the field when playing defense. There's going to be a lot of first downs that are going to be available, because to have those many tackles a game means your defense is out there for long drives. And speaking of long drives, we did a little research, ladies and gentlemen, on that really long drive we had against General McLean last week. That ate up a ton of time. And I'm going to let Doug give you the details on that. It was pretty interesting what we found.
Yep. Fort Leboeuf, their best drive of the game last week, even though they lost 42-20, they did have one really sustained drive that lasted 22 plays, which is just unheard of, taking up a total of 10 minutes and 59 seconds over the first and second quarters. So in high school, you only have 12-minute quarters, so they were a minute short of an entire quarter of having the ball, and that did end in a touchdown. So if they can continue that and get some long sustained drives, that'll definitely be a big factor.
Okay, and they just finished the coin toss, and Fairview will receive. And what that really proves is that their offensive line can do the job, because to do that against General McLean is impressive.
Absolutely.
While they weren't able to do that every drive, not many people would be able to do that every drive. What it shows you is when our offensive line is working well, everybody eats. Everybody succeeds.
Yeah.
Okay. We're getting ready for the national anthem.
All right, and we are back here. 3 minutes, 45 seconds left to go before kickoff here. And, Fort Leboeuf comes in losing their last 2 games. Last week they just got outmatched by a better and bigger General McLean team. But, they're 3-3 overall. Fairview's 2-4 overall. Fort Leboeuf is on top of the Region 5 standings and 2-0 in the region. But, Ben, I hate to call this a must-win game with still 3 games to go, but they cannot afford to lose to Fairview. They've lost 2 in a row already. They're clearly the better team, and they just need to go out and take care of business today.
Yeah, it would be nice. While we did have a big win against Northeast, we didn't put a full 4 quarters together. And it would be nice to see if they can do that tonight. The only team that we've both played so far this season is Grove City. Fort Leboeuf lost 14-6. Fairview lost 43-7. Now, if all things are staying the same, which in football doesn't always happen due to injuries and things like that, that should really tell us that the Bisons should win handedly this evening.
Absolutely. And we are getting ready for kickoff as Fort Leboeuf is kicking off to Fairview. Tigers have a couple guys back at the goal line, and here we go, and we're underway. The line drive kick bounces at the 15. It's taken up the middle. He's hit and dropped before the 20-yard line. Nice special teams play there by the Fort Leboeuf Bison.
Yeah, that's a nice first play.
18-yard return.
Start a tempo.
Tigers start this ball game 1st and 10 from their own 20.
And Fairview comes into this game. They had a change in quarterback a few games ago. Carlos Samino played most of the first 3 games. The last 3 games, the quarterback's been taken over by Jeremiah Bennett, number 2. So Bennett will be under center right now to take the snap. 1st and 10 at the 20. Hands off up the middle, and he goes nowhere. And that was...
Back the ball carrier, no gain on the play.
62.
That was number 32, Caden Odak, who had the 200-yard game last week. And he gets nowhere on that run for about right back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, and the way our defense plays with the linebackers that we have in our defensive line, we should be able to put a lot of pressure on the quarterback when they get the 3rd down.
Absolutely. Bennett takes a snap. He's going to air it out deep. He's got him in, but he overthrows number 13, Langston Pustelak Haynes, who has been their top receiver all season.
Well, and you can tell as soon as that was thrown, the receiver realized he wasn't going to be able to make it, and he kind of pulled up a little bit. But the quarterback definitely has a strong enough arm.
Yep, and he had a step on a couple of defenders, but he just could not catch up to that one. That brings up a 3rd down and 10 right off the bat. As Bennett in the shotgun takes a snap, he's going to run out. He flips it out to the left, and he gets about 9 yards. So that was a nice little option play there, I guess you would call it.
You don't see many read options where you throw overhand, and this is interesting. And they're going hurry up.
Yep, and they're going to go for it on 4th and 1, or at least line up to go for it. Might try to draw the Fort Leboeuf defense offside, but as of right now, big play in the game right off the bat. And they did get somebody to jump.
They did.
And I think it was Skylar Sadowski that came across the line. And it is a first down for the Fairview Tigers.
So that is our first penalty of the night for Fort Leboeuf. And if you want to dominate an entire game, you have to avoid those.
Absolutely. Yeah, they just they'd stopped them pretty well in the first 3 plays, but yeah, you can't give that up. Bennett takes the snap, another option. He flips it out to Oldak, and he gets wrapped up for maybe a loss of a yard there.
Oldak, the ball carrier.
That was a good tackle. I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball too much today, unless they can fool us with the read option.
Absolutely. And that, Bennett doesn't have a whole lot of yards rushing from the quarterback spot, but, they might be setting this up for him to get some rushing yards if he fakes the pitch there. But so far they've done it pretty well as they're the man in motion, and whistle blows the play dead. And timeout Fairview. So we will take a break for a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Support for Fort Leboeuf Bison football play-by-play on the sunny 105.7 Sports Stream is provided in part by the Corry Federal Credit Union. The Corry Federal Credit Union would like to wish the Bison the best of luck this season. The Corry Federal Credit Union has been serving the community since 1958. They offer a wide range of financial and banking services for you or your business. The Corry Federal Credit Union is located at 728 Worth Street in Corry, 56 North Main Street, Union City, 315 Main Street in Spartansburg, and online at corryfcu.org. The sunny 105.7 Sports Stream thanks the Corry Federal Credit Union, a not-for-profit organization, for their support of Bison football play-by-play.
All right, 2nd down and 11 here at the 33-yard line. Bennett takes the snap, fakes the pitch. He's going to throw. He's looking downfield. He has no one to throw to. He does get a pass off, and it's caught by number 7, Davis Nesbitt. But just right back to the original line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of a yard.
Yeah, that was a lot of work to get back to the line of scrimmage. The quarterback, you can tell, has some natural instincts, but he doesn't look like he's feeling super comfortable in the pocket tonight.
Absolutely.
That was a great effort by the receiver to bring the ball down, though.
Yep. Brings up another 3rd down and long. 3rd down and 10, the 34-yard line. Bennett takes a snap, hands it off, fakes the handoff. He rolls out, and the ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage by Skylar Sadowski, as Sadowski was in trying to get the sack, but he was able to knock the ball down.
Yeah, and you can tell right away with 9 minutes we're at 0-0 after the first drive as they're getting ready to punt. But you can tell immediately that our defensive line and linebackers are getting through their offensive line pretty fast.
Absolutely.
And if that's going to last all night, it's going to be a good night for the Bisons.
Absolutely. As Bison are getting ready to get their first crack at offense. And here's the punt. End-over-end kick. That ball is going to bounce and stop right there. And it is down at the 36-yard line. And that's where Fort Leboeuf will take over.
And that's great field position for your first drive. Now, if our linemen playing both sides can have the same dominance on the offensive line, this should be a pretty good drive. We might just run the ball right down the field.
Absolutely. And as I said, Skylar Sadowski comes into the game with 788 yards on the season rushing. So we'll see if we can get him unleashed early in this game.
Well, if he has a over 200-yard night, which is possible, he might break 1,000 yards this night.
Absolutely. Man in motion. Dominic Walters takes a snap. Sadowski, he broke a tackle originally, but is tripped up right at the line of scrimmage, so that'll be a no gain on first down there.
Yeah, it looked like that handoff was a little late. I don't know if there was a miscommunication, but it just looked like Sadowski didn't have the timing right. I'm not saying it was on him, but it just didn't look like it flowed the way they anticipated.
Right. So we got the ball, 2nd down and 10 here. 8:30 to go on a running clock, no score. There's Dominic Walters in the shotgun. Sends a man in motion. Hands it off to Sadowski. Around the right side, he's up close to a first down as he gets tackled at about the 45-yard line for a gain of 9.
Well, and I like Sadowski. He pulled the little Brett Favre where he acted like he was going to throw it after the handoff. And they really did well with that last week against GM. A lot of misdirection, a lot of smoke and mirrors. And so if they can do that same thing here, it's going to go pretty well.
Absolutely. 3rd down and short here for the Bison on their first possession of the game. Walters takes the snap. He throws a little screen pass to Vomero, and he is wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
And that's going to be a loss of about 2 yards on that play.
When you make a play like that, you don't want to lead the receiver backwards away from the line of scrimmage. You want them to be able to catch and maybe not even lead them forward, but at the very least not lead them backwards.
Absolutely.
As soon as that happens, the defender has the advantage. And Vomero's fast, but he's not that kind of fast.
Yep, that brings up a 4th down and 2, and they're lining up to go for it. Walters takes a snap, hands it to Sadowski. He made a couple-man miss, but he gets tackled, and I don't think he got it.
It's going to be awfully close. It's going to be where they spot the ball.
Yep. Let's see where they mark it. And they are going to give him a first down. I did not think he had the sticks.
I saw his arms stretched out, but there were bodies in front of him, so I wasn't sure if he was able to make it or not.
Yep. So
that's definitely a favorable spot.
So that gives them a first down at the 46-yard line. First down and 10. Almost midway through this first quarter.
Still 0-0 with 6:40 left in the first quarter.
Walters under center for the first time today. Man in motion, and that ball is going to be blown dead before the snap.
Now I see a flag.
And
false start.
False start on Fort Leboeuf. So that's their second penalty of the game.
Well, and is this going to be a matter of us or Fairview beating us or us beating ourselves?
Absolutely. Yeah, they've already had a couple 10-plus penalty games this year, and that's been their Achilles heel all season. As that'll bring up a first down and 15 at the 41-yard line. Walters back in the shotgun now. Sadowski to his left. Handoff to Black around the end, and he gets wrapped up. Maybe a gain of a yard.
Pretty Black, the ball carrier, top and Nesbitt on the stop.
Yeah, the coach has to be frustrated when they start a game off with penalties like this, when you know that physically you can dominate most plays.
Absolutely. Yeah, the Bison tried a little misdirection there as they gave it to Black, who went in motion on that one instead of giving it to Sadowski. That brings up a second down and 14. Walters is back in the shotgun. Takes a snap. He's back to pass. He's going to look deep. He's got a man, and it is caught at the 20-yard line. That is Mikey Vomero, who is tackled at the 15-yard line for a huge gain.
Well, and that's what I meant when I said he's not that kind of fast. He's a route runner fast. He doesn't necessarily make guys miss after having possession, but he can run those routes, especially that post route, which seems to be their favorite route at this point in the season.
Absolutely. That's about a 39-yard gain there, down to the 15-yard line. And Walters takes the snap. He fakes the handoff. He's going to keep it himself, and he gains about 2 yards up to the 13-yard line.
Calls his own number.
And that will bring up a second down and 8 at the 13-yard line. Bison can get a first down at the 5.
It wouldn't surprise me if they keep running to try to go all the way in, but I could also see a slant pass because they're playing their safeties up close near the line, so they have a little bit of space on the left-hand side there.
Definitely. 4 receivers in the formation here. Sadowski offset to the right. Gives it to Sadowski up the middle. He breaks a few tackles. He's into the end zone for a touchdown. Skylar Sadowski, the 13-yard touchdown to give the Bison a 6-0 lead here with 4 minutes and 40 seconds left in the first quarter.
And did you see him just drag that defender for several yards?
He did, and that was impressive there.
That's like pulling 200 pounds, anywhere from 150 to 200 pounds with you. That's not easy to do.
Absolutely. And Lucas Cant's on for the point after here. Little high snap, but he gets it down, and it is good. They give the Bison a 7-0 lead. There's 4:40 to go here in that first quarter, and we will be right back.
Support for this broadcast is provided by Family Ink Innovations, specializing in screen printing, banners, yard signs, and much more. Located at 319 High Street in Waterford and 104 West Smith Street in Corry, and online at FamilyInkInnovations.com. Phone 814-462-6628. The Sunny 105.7 Sports Stream thanks Family Ink Innovations for their support.
And we are back for the kickoff.
And just to recap that drive, it was a 7-play, 64-yard drive, taking 4 minutes and 20 seconds off the clock as the Bison get the early lead. And that's what we said they needed to do, is to come out and just take over the game early.
Yeah, and it's a good thing that they drove down on their first drive, build that momentum. And it would be really nice to see if they could bring in the backups in the fourth quarter.
Absolutely. Here's a line drive kick. That's going to make it into the end zone. And that will set Fairview up at the 20-yard line to start their second drive of the game.
Now, the best part about how Fort Leboeuf season has gone is you don't ever want to peak too early. And I feel like right now, after taking those 2 losses, but still having some success within those games, we're about ready to meet our peak for the season, which if we make it into the playoffs is exactly where you want to be.
Absolutely. Bennett back in the shotgun. Oldak to his left. He gives it to Oldak. He runs up, gets about 2 yards, and he is tackled by a swarm of Fort Leboeuf Bison players there.
Yeah, our linebackers are having a great night tonight, and our linemen. But they're just too fast for this running back, and they're getting past these blocks almost instantly.
Yep. Yeah, Fort Leboeuf, that's been their strength of their team most of the years, their defense. They've had a couple games where they've given up a lot of points, but for the most part, they've been pretty stout on defense. As Bennett takes the snap, he's going to throw it short. It's caught up to the 25. First down at the 30, over the 35 to about the 36-yard line.
Now that's exactly what Fairview needs to do, especially if they're playing backup quarterbacks and backup running backs. They need to make the passing game an extension of the running game and hope that they get good blocking away from the linebackers. And that's what they were able to do. The receivers were the primary blockers on that. And that's probably going to give them their best chance to move the ball down the field.
Absolutely. 14-yard gain on that gives them a first down. And some movement on the line, and it looks like offsides on Fort Leboeuf again. Yep, and that will give them another 5 yards. That's the third penalty for 15 yards for Fort Leboeuf so far.
Now, I've never played organized football, but it seems to me the defensive tackle should be the last guy to jump off sides, seeing that the ball is right in front of him.
Absolutely. Yep, you just got to watch the ball. First down and 5, the 40. He's going to throw it out there, and it is tipped by Oldak and almost intercepted. As that one falls to the ground, that will bring up a second down.
So to go back to the other play, I didn't have a chance to finish. So if the defensive tackle and the linebackers are all jumping at the same time, they must have seen something in the film room to make them think that that was the right game plan going in.
Right.
Because I really don't think clapping the hands was that much of a gesture that they all should have been jumping like that.
Absolutely. And Bennett lined up in the shotgun again, takes a snap, hands off up the middle, and he is brought down by Vamaro after a gain of about 2. That was a nice open field tackle there. And there's a timeout on the field. And we will be right back.
Fort Leboeuf football coverage on the Sunny 105.7 Corry Federal Credit Union Sports Stream is brought to you by Leboeuf Creek Cattle, phone 814-572-7979. Waterford Beverage at 12001 Peach Street, phone 814-796-2507. Wagon Wheel Bar and Grill at 12711 Route 19 in Waterford, phone 814-796-2017.
So Fairview has used 2 timeouts now in the first quarter, and this could become problematic when we move closer to halftime.
Absolutely.
Especially now that they're behind already.
Yep. This is going to bring up 3rd down and 3 at about the 42. And their first drive, they went for it on 4th and 1 at the 29. So you got to think, unless they lose a lot of yards on this play, they're going to go for it again here on 4th down if they don't make it. There's Jeremiah Bennett lined up in the shotgun. Oldak behind him. Hands it off. No, fakes the handoff, and he throws it out to the right, and that is caught. And he makes a move, and he's got one man to beat, and he is tackled by number 1 for the Bison, Dominic Walters. And that is a big play, and that was uncharacteristic of Fort Leboeuf. They're usually a better tackling team than that.
Well, Fairview's quarterback is doing a great job with the short passes. He's tall, so he can throw over defenders. He has good vision because of how high he is. He has a high release, so throwing these short passes, he's not going to have to sidearm a whole lot. He can just pass it from the top, 12 o'clock position, and that seems to be working right now.
Absolutely. That sets the Fairview Tigers up 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line of the Bison. Bennett and Oldak. Bennett in the pistol formation. Oldak behind him. Takes the snap. Hands it off to Oldak, and he's driving forward. He's dragging a bunch of players for about a 5-yard gain. And that will set up a 2nd down and 5. Mark him at the 16, or the 11, so 2nd down and 6.
Well, and the best thing going for Fairview right now is they're kind of in a no-lose situation. Their record's not great, so if they can play without fear because they're not really worried about their overall record, I feel like that gives them an advantage. Ooh.
And
the wide receiver took off on that one.
Number 13.
Well, and that goes back to
back Haynes with that.
And that goes back to what they saw on film study. They must have seen something on film study because the receiver just jumped as soon as his hands clapped. And so Fort Leboeuf, I'm going to give them forgiveness on that last jumping off sides on defense because clearly it even fooled their own receiver.
Yep. That'll move the ball back 5 yards to the 16-yard line. 2nd down and 10. 2nd down and 11. It's the 16. Bennett takes the snap and he hands it to number 21. That is Joey O'Reilly with his first carry of the game as he goes up the middle for 6.
He was not touched by anyone. We had our defense coming from the outside, so they were trying to defend against those short passes again, which opens up to make the running game go up the middle. That's fantastic game planning by Fairview.
Absolutely.
And we are almost at a 7-7 tie if they can make the extra point.
Yep. Yeah, that was excellent blocking up front because, like you said, he was not touched as he got through the middle there. And here's the point after. It is up, and it is good. And with 1 minute and 29 seconds left here in the first quarter, we have a 7-7 game.
Sunny 105.7 experiences
For
dead
Leboeuf
air.
football coverage on the Sunny 105.7 Corry Federal Credit Union Sports Stream is brought to you by Leboeuf Creek Cattle, phone 814-572-7979. Waterford Beverage at 12001 Peach Street, phone 814-796-2507. Wagon Wheel Bar and Grill at 12711 Route 19 in Waterford, phone 814-796-2017.
Well, and early on, they're giving Fairview hope. And that's the last thing you want to do against a team that you should be able to win against handedly.
Absolutely.
But I think there's something more to this backup QB than maybe we anticipated.
Yeah.
He has all the physical attributes, and it seems like after the first drive, he settled down pretty quick.
Absolutely. And this is his third game playing as their main quarterback, so you can tell he's getting comfortable back there. And that drive right there, that was a 6-play, 80-yard drive, taking just 3 minutes and 11 seconds off the clock for Fairview, with obviously the big play, the 45-yard pass for Bennett for the Tigers. So
Bennett is their backup QB playing, but he also plays wide receiver and defensive back. So it wouldn't surprise me if you see him try to run the ball at some point tonight.
Right.
Taking the end zone for a touchback. Weiss will take over first and 10 from their own 20-yard line.
And especially since they've been having some success running the ball with their two running backs, that could set up for him to break something himself and keep it. So that kickoff goes into the end zone, and that will be a touchback. And Fort Leboeuf will begin at their own 20-yard line with 1 minute and 29 seconds to go here in the first quarter. See if they can get a nice sustained drive like they did last week at the end of the first quarter. And Walters takes a snap, pitches it out to Sadowski around the right side. He's up over the 20 to the 25 and gets knocked down about the 26-yard line for about 6 yards on that play.
Yeah, our offensive line is playing very well so far. They're holding their blocks well. I'd really like to see us run between the tackles. I think that's going to open up the outside run, but more importantly, the passes along the sidelines, outside the hash marks.
Second down and 3. They give him 7 on that play. As Walters takes the snap. He hands it off to Sadowski this time around the left side. He makes the moves. He's up over the 35 to the 40 and just tripped up. That could have been a big gainer if he was able to get out of that tackle.
Yeah, that was a touchdown saving tackle for sure. You just saw by the lunge of the defensive player, he was making a huge effort there, knowing that he only had a split second before he was way too far behind Sadowski.
Sadowski's got some good quickness for a big guy too. As Walters takes the snap, he hands it off to Brady Black, who's stopped in the backfield. And that's going to be a loss of about 5 yards on that play. And that little wide receiver inside handoff is not working for them today.
Well, and if we're going to get a big win here, we're going to have other people contribute besides Sadowski in the running game and in the passing game. Vomero can't be the only one catching the ball. But we have a lot of game left to make that happen.
Absolutely. And that will be the final play of the first quarter as we have a 7-7 tie. And we will be back after a word from our sponsors.
For Leboeuf football coverage on the Sunny 105.7 Corry Federal Credit Union Sports Stream is brought to you by High T Fence Systems in Waterford, online at hightfenceinc.com. O'Brien Transmission Service in Youngsville, phone 814-563-7120. J.H. Napa Auto Parts in Corry, Union City, and Waterford. Online at napaonline.com.
And we are back. 7-7 is the score. Fort Leboeuf versus Fairview. Start of the second quarter. The ball is going to be on, let's see,
The 38-yard line.
38-yard line, yep.
Yep. And both teams having success their last couple drives, as both teams have scored a touchdown. Sadowski, I have him already at 46 yards at the end of one quarter. So he's well on his way to a possible 200-yard game. As we have seen all year, he gets better as the game goes on. So if he's got close to 50 already after one, the second half, he can really start piling up the yardage.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. As long as he's feeling good, he's going to get his yards tonight.
That sets up a second down and 14 at their own 38-yard line. As Walters takes the snap, he's going to roll out to the left. He's going to look deep. And there's Vomero, and it is tipped. And did he catch it on the ground?
It looked like he did.
Are they going to give it to him?
What does the ref say?
Interception.
So
it got tipped by Vomero, and then it got tipped by a couple guys, and then they're saying that it is caught by the Fairview defender at the 22-yard line.
Yeah, Vomero jumped, and at the very height where he had the ball, there wasn't a lot of defender hands there, but as he came down, the defender put his hand between his two hands, knocked it right out, and then stayed with it, jumping over him.
I thought Vomero might have caught it while he was laying on the ground, but...
Well, and that's an interception by playing the receiver well. He wasn't necessarily playing the ball until that last minute.
Absolutely. And that'll set Fairview up at a first down and 10. And there's a fake handoff, and that's just what we were talking about, as Bennett keeps it and gets an 8-yard gain there.
Yeah, once you get those runs and short passes going, now your quarterback has a little bit more freedom. And seeing that he's used to getting hit playing receiver and defensive back, this game might turn into a tighter game than we anticipated.
Absolutely. As Fairview has all the momentum going for them as they won their last game. Fort Leboeuf's lost their last two, so Fairview's feeling it right now. They have a little bit of a tight formation here. Second down and 2. Bennett back to pass. He can't find anybody. He is being pressured. Rolls out to the right.
Wow.
And he throws it back against the grain, and it's caught, and that will be a first down, as he had a receiver back there trying to help out blocking, and he was able to dump it off to him for about a 3-yard gain, but it's enough for a first down.
So Bennett is, hate to compare him to an NFL quarterback and put that pressure on him, but he's playing a lot like Big Ben. And in high school, Big Ben played receiver until his senior year and then moved to quarterback. It looks like this guy might have had a better option at quarterback than receiver earlier in the season.
And that sets up a first down and 10 at the 35-yard line. Bennett takes a snap, rolls through his right. He's looking to run it. He throws it away as he was getting heavily pressured by Brady Black of the Bison, which will bring up a second down and 10.
Yeah, they're really letting this QB take the game over a little bit. They're putting the ball in his hands, and it's exciting to see. You can just see the talent coming out of him. The first drive looked very mechanical. He didn't feel comfortable, and now he's just letting his instincts take over, and he's got really good instincts.
Well, and, he's obviously one of their best athletes on the team, regardless of position. So, in games like this, just let your athletes be athletes and let them go. As there's movement up front, and it looks like Fort Leboeuf jumped again. Let's see if they were drawn offside. But that was number 77 for the Bison. Dominic Leach.
Offense got a false start.
But he was drawn offside, so that is a penalty against Fairview. which we will take that, and that'll move the ball back 5 yards to the 30-yard line.
Well, I'm being a 7-7 tie right now. If anything Fairview can do to hurt their own progress is going to be accepted greatly.
Absolutely.
Because I'll tell you, they look like they have something going on here. It looks like they found something. It's hard to believe this offense is moving like this, and they only have 2 wins.
I agree. As Bennett takes the snap, hands it off up the middle, and not a whole lot there for Oldak. He gains maybe a yard.
Oldak, the ball carrier, Brady Black on the stop.
That'll bring up a second down and 14, or a third down and 14.
Third and 13.
With 10 minutes here to go here in the second quarter. 7-7 game here in Fairview.
Well, and one of the things with all these short passes, what it does is it takes Walters out of the equation for getting interceptions. Because he's the guy who's going to get those interceptions most of the time for you, but he's not going to be able to do it if you throw out into the flat. So they're really neutralizing our best players to the best of their ability.
Absolutely. Third down and 13. Bennett, another short pass out to the right, and he slips a tackle, and he gets up to the 50-yard line, as that's another 17 yards for Nesbitt, as he has just
First down, Tigers.
he has been on the receiving end of every pass completion so far for Bennett.
Now, there might be one thing that we didn't bring up sooner, and I've noticed it's different with Fort Leboeuf, is that Blos is not out there. And I'm wondering how that changes their defense. And we know he was a big contributor on defense, but it looks like that might have a bigger impact than what we anticipated.
Here's the snap. He fakes the short pass. That ball's tipped up in the air. It's a free-for-all, and it's knocked down to the ground.
They knocked it away from their own ball players.
Yep. Bennett got hit as he threw the ball, and that ball just went straight up in the air, and about 6 different players on both teams, most of them for Fort Leboeuf, had a chance for that, but the ball falls
and you know
to the ground.
It's hard to think that through when the ball's up in the air. You run on instincts, but those offensive linemen, if they touched the ball, that would have been a penalty. So I saw them hesitate for a second. They could have had a chance to get closer to the ball, but I'm wondering if they were thinking, hey, I don't want to get a penalty for touching it. And maybe we'll just hit them when they come down with it.
Yep. Second down and 10 at their own 49-yard line. Bennett takes a snap, hands off up the middle to Oldak. He's hit at the line of scrimmage. He breaks a couple tackles, and he falls forward for about a 4-yard gain. That'll bring up a third down and 5.
Carson Stoles on the stop.
Carson Stoles for the Bison makes the tackle.
Get him a long 4 on the play, 36.
Under 9 minutes to go here in the first half on a quick moving clock, as Bennett and Fairview has just called their final timeout of the first half with 8:43 to go. So we'll see if that comes into play later on in the half. But we're locked up here in a 7-7 game. 8:43 to go. And Fairview has the ball at the Fort Leboeuf 47-yard line.
So it really looks like right now that the passing game is opening up the running game. If they can somehow figure out the scheme that Fairview's using to just put a little bit more pressure consistently on the quarterback, I think we can shut him down like we did the first drive. But right now, he's pretty tall, he's pretty strong, and he's pretty fast. And he looks like he can ad-lib really, really well.
Definitely. And the Bison have been able to get pressure on him a couple times so far today. And I think they just got to keep coming after him.
Yeah, if he has a clean pocket, he's gonna give you decent passes.
Third down and 6. The 47-yard line of Fort Leboeuf. Bennett and Oldak in the backfield. Bennett takes a snap. He drops back to pass. He throws it to the sidelines and overthrown. That was Javis Nesbitt as the intended receiver again. And it is important to point out that Nesbitt is just a freshman, too. And he's got a bright future ahead of him, number 7 for the Fairview Tigers.
Yeah, he absolutely does. And Bennett made the perfect throw there. He was trying to drop it right over. He only missed it by a few inches. Where that defender was, that was the only pass he really had.
Absolutely. Yeah, he put it where it couldn't be intercepted, but his receiver was the only one that could make that play. And this will be Fairview's second punt of the night. And it's a pretty good one, as it's going to bounce at the 10, bounce towards the end zone, and
did he get it?
Did it touch the end zone? And they are going to mark it at the 1-yard line. What a punt! And
that's the punt of the year right there.
That ball was bouncing towards the end zone, and as soon as it got to the 1-yard line, it bounced sideways and did not go into the end zone.
When that Fairview player tapping it back in or getting near it, I think he tapped it. That was just great special teams.
Absolutely. And, of course, we don't have replay in high school, but it would be interesting to see if the Fairview player was in the end zone when he touched that ball, because that was awfully close. But the referee was right there, so he had the best view of it.
Let's see if we can't do a drive all the way down the field and eat up all 8 minutes and 23 seconds.
That would definitely be nice. As they started the, can't even really call it the 1-yard line. It's almost touching the goal line.
1-inch line.
Yep, as Walters is just going to do a quarterback sneak to try to get some room, and he gains about 7 or 8 yards as he gets up to about the 7-yard line. So that was a big play right there to give themselves some breathing room.
Gain of 6 on the play, 2nd and 4.
That will give them a first down or a 2nd down and 4 at the 7-yard line. As that's Walter's first rushing attempt of the game. As he's back under center. And he's going to fake the handoff. He's going to roll out, and he's going to keep it himself. And he's got his first down up over the 10 to about the 12-yard line.
Walters once again.
And
Riley on the stop.
In 2 plays, Dominic Walters has given the Bison a first down and gotten themselves out of the shadow of their own goalpost.
You know, one thing we don't get a chance to talk about all that much because he's always running the ball is Sadowski's a pretty decent blocker.
He is.
He can block quite well, and we haven't seen a lot of those types of QB runs. We've seen QB runs, but not just the I'm going to take it and just go.
Right.
And I was just noticing Sadowski was putting on some good blocks for him.
Sets up a first down and 10 at the 11. And there's a handoff up the middle. And he's swarmed under at about the 13 for about 2 yards.
And those defenders are getting in there really fast.
Yep.
I haven't seen a handoff where he's stretching out like that to get the ball to Sadowski. Usually he holds on to it for the last minute.
Right.
And these handoffs just don't look as smooth. And I'm not sure what's going on that we're getting that kind of penetration, but that's something to watch moving forward.
2nd down and 8 here. Tie score 7-7, 6:38 to go here in the first half. As the Bison have the ball at their own 13-yard line. Walters back under center. And here's a pitch out to Sadowski. He's met in the backfield. He breaks a couple tackles. He's still going. And he may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage, but he saved a loss of about 3 or 4 yards.
No gain on the play, 3rd and 8.
Yeah, I'm not sure how Fairview's schedule is played out, that they only have 2 wins, but they don't look like a 2-win team.
They definitely don't.
So I'm just curious how many injuries have played an effect or how their season's progressed, that maybe the ball just didn't bounce their way, but they look like they know how to play football.
Yep, and they found something last week when they broke their 4-game losing streak. And they came out with a 19-7 victory last week. As Walters under center again. He's going to take the snap, rolls to his right, looking for someone to throw to, and he's just going to throw that ball out of bounds. He did have a receiver in the area, Bartone. but he just threw that ball into the Fairview bench.
Well, it's 7-7
Down, Bison.
with 5 minutes and 33 seconds left in the second quarter. It just really seems like this is not going to be the game we anticipated. This is definitely a defensive struggle.
No, but in the game against Northeast a few weeks ago, they were down 3-0 at halftime, and they exploded in the second half. So we'll see if we can get a second half similar to that, as Lucas Kantz is back to punt the ball away on 4th and 8 at the 13. Here's the punt, a little bit of pressure, nice punt, nice high punt, and it is caught at the 43-yard line on a fair catch, and that's where Fairview will begin their next drive.
Yeah, Bennett is reminding me of the quarterback from Northeast as far as his playing style and his ability to move. But I feel like Bennett tonight, he just ad-libs a little bit better. And we got, really close game against Northeast. So, yeah, I hope we come out the second half and we turn it on. But I think just his natural ability is going to keep them in the game for most of it.
Absolutely. We have a 3 wide receiver set here. 2 receivers to the left. Bennett takes a snap. He fakes the handoff, and Bennett keeps it himself. And that's going to be about a 3-yard gain, as they had Joey O'Reilly in the game in the backfield. O'Reilly's the one who scored the touchdown in the first quarter for the Tigers.
Now, I don't know if they're going to go with 5 minutes, 25 seconds left. I don't know if they're going to go in like a 4-minute drill where they try to run the play clock down to and eat up as much clock as they can.
And the clock's not moving. I don't know if anybody's realized that, but it didn't move on that first play.
No, it didn't.
Now it started, but they got a free play on that one. As there's a handoff to O'Reilly, as he's going to get about 3 yards. And that first down play started with 5:25 to go, and they never wound the clock.
No, they didn't. Well, that's going to be an advantage for somebody. So whoever has the ball at the end of the quarter is going to get a few extra seconds.
Yep, I don't know if anybody realized that, but the referees haven't put any time back on the clock, so they're going to leave it the way it is, as that sets up a 3rd down and 5 at the 37. A little bit of movement, but he didn't get into the neutral zone, so no penalty.
Yeah, there are definitely times where you can jump just a little and get away with it.
The play clock's down to 4 as he hands off the ball up the middle. That's O'Reilly, I think.
Yep, and that's a first down.
So he gets the ball up to the 30-yard line, and that's a gain of about 7.
First down, Tigers.
As they're switching things up with Oldak was the main running back in the beginning of the game. Now O'Reilly's getting some action. They're the first down and 10, and the Fort Leboeuf Bison jumped again with the clap of the hands by the quarterback.
Now, I'm noticing that 66, I believe you pronounce his name, Cheeseman.
Yeah.
His leg is bothering him. He's shaking it a little bit. He's wobbling. He's playing left tackle. So hopefully Fort Leboeuf sees that and they try to take advantage of that when they're blitzing the quarterback. But at this point, they might not have to throw.
First down and 5 here, as he tried to get him to jump again, unsuccessfully. Play clock down to 5. Fairview out of timeouts. And Bennett takes a snap. He's going to air it out to the end zone, and some fighting, and the ball falls to the ground, and they're going to call interference on, I can't see who the defender was, but I think it's going to go against Fort Leboeuf.
He came back for the ball because it was underthrown a little bit, and I feel like he came into the defender, but it's kind of a subjective call by the referee of who got in whose way.
Yep.
I didn't feel like the defender did anything wrong there. I feel like he was just finishing the route, and the receiver just came back.
Yep. And, like this, for the first time all year, we have a referee that has a microphone that is actually announcing the the calls to the crowd, so we know exactly what's going on. As that'll put the ball half the distance to the goal and put them out at 1st and 10 at the 12-yard line.
Wow, I can't believe that slap of the hands is still getting them to jump.
More movement, and
it's kind of surprising that just clapping your hands when they've seen that all year.
Yep.
I mean, that's almost what every quarterback does.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's yelling out of call.
That's gotten him so many times in this game.
There has to be something going on closer to the field that we would hear if we were closer, because I just don't see why that clap would be doing what it's doing.
There's a stop in the action for some reason, as now they are going to wind the clock again. 3 minutes and 37 seconds to go here in the first half. 7-7. Fairview on the move at the Fort Leboeuf 12-yard line. Bennett takes the snap, hands off to O'Reilly, and
they had a chance for a fumble because I don't think that was a clean handoff.
Yeah, I don't know if he actually got the handoff off, but
he did. Well, it's with the running back now.
Yeah, but they were swarmed under as he was trying to make that handoff, and they are awfully lucky that they did not fumble that ball.
Well, and that must be why Fairview is trying so hard to get him to jump off sides, because they must realize that they have some gaps on their offensive line. They're susceptible at a few positions there, and so they're trying to even it out by doing that. Hard count would be the only thing I could call it, even though I don't hear a hard count.
Bennett takes the snap, throws the ball low at the feet of the wide receiver, and that will bring up a third down. And set them up 3rd down and 13 at the 15-yard line. They can get a first down inside the 5 at about the 2-yard line.
If they could get them in the backfield about 5 yards, put a little bit more pressure on the quarterback or on the kicker, I think that might help. I'm pretty sure he's going to make a kick from this distance.
And Bennett with the snap, looking for a receiver. He rolls out, and the wide receiver slips. There was no contact there. He just slipped on his own.
Well, and I don't know that the pass was close enough to call flag.
Absolutely.
But you're right. He did fall on his own.
So that's going to bring up a 4th down at the 15-yard line. And looks like they are bringing the field goal unit out for what will be about a 32-yard field goal.
Slightly left of center, down the middle of the field.
This is Daniel Lindenberger, number 99, who will attempt the field goal. He's just 0 for 1 on field goal attempts this year, so they haven't had a whole lot of opportunities. And there's a low snap, and that's blocked as it's picked up by Fairview lineman, but it will not matter because that will turn the ball over to the Fort Leboeuf Bison.
Will take over 1st and 10.
As that ball, the snap was low, and the holder had a little bit of trouble getting it down. But
well, so the one thing I'm noticing now early in this game or in the second quarter is Fairview's having a hard time blocking up the middle, whether it's the pass, whether it's the run, or whether it's a kick. So Fort Leboeuf can game plan for that during halftime and come out with a few different schemes on defense. We might be able to get momentum in this game.
Absolutely. And Fort Leboeuf takes over with just 2 minutes and 37 seconds to go, so we might see the Bison open it up a little bit more than they have so far in this game, as Walters is going to air it out, and he throws it just out of the reach of number 27, Aiden Strutchen.
Walters pass to Strutchen falls incomplete.
That will bring up a 2nd down and 10.
2nd and 10.
Yeah, they don't have to completely go away from the running game right now. And they do have a kicker that can kick it 50 yards, so they don't have to get as far as some other teams.
Yeah, from the angle we're at, it looked like that was a wide open Strutchen, but I don't know if the defensive back was in between the two of them at that time. It looked like it was a few yards away from the line of the throw.
Walters fakes the handoff, and he goes up the middle, and he gets up to about the 24-yard line for about 6 yards.
Norton Miller on the stop.
Oh, we have a player down, number 7 for Fairview, Nesbitt.
And that's going to be a big loss. He's their wide receiver that's made all the plays so far, so hopefully he's okay, but that will be a big loss for Fairview, as we will be right back.
Fort Leboeuf football coverage on the Sunny 105.7 Corry Federal Credit Union Sports Stream is brought to you by Jim Brozell Construction at 9298 Peach Street in Waterford. Phone 814-866-2075. Wise Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine in Waterford. Online at wisept.com. Al's Appliance Sales and Service at 110 High Street in Waterford. Phone 814-796-4007.
Support for Fort Leboeuf Bison football play-by-play on the Sunny 105.7 Sports Stream is provided in part by the Corry Federal Credit Union. The Corry Federal Credit Union would like to wish the Bison the best of luck this season. The Corry Federal Credit Union has been serving the community since 1958. They offer a wide range of financial and banking services for you or your business. The Corry Federal Credit Union is located at 728 Worth Street in Corry, 56 North Main Street, Union City, 315 Main Street in Spartansburg, and online at corryfcu.org. The Sunny 105.7 Sports Stream thanks the Corry Federal Credit Union, a not-for-profit organization, for their support of Bison football play-by-play.
All right, we are back, and Nesbitt is coming off the field needing help. So I hate to speculate on what is going on, but that may be the end of the night for Javis Nesbitt, and that will be a big loss for the Fairview Tigers if he cannot come back.
Well, he's been the core of their offense at this point. Just the threat of him at wide receiver opens everything else up.
Absolutely. But back to action. We're at 3rd down and 3 at the 24. 2 minutes remaining here in the first half as Sadowski takes the handoff around left end, and he gains about 8 yards up to about the 34-yard line.
First down, Bison.
And that will give the Bison a first down at the 33.
Yeah, 7-7 with under 2 minutes. If they can get a score here, who got the kickoff at the beginning? It was Fairview, right?
Yeah, Fairview had the
So
first
if we could
possession,
score
so.
before we go in a half, and then we can score again, that'll give us a quick 2-score lead.
Absolutely. Even if they can get a field goal in this drive. As Sadowski takes a handoff up the middle, he's got some running room up over the 45 to the 50 and runs out of bounds at the 46-yard line of the Tigers. As that gained about a 20-yard run there by Sadowski.
I really appreciated his patience. When he was behind the guard, it looked like he could have just shot that hole, but he waited for the to suck the defenders in closer to the guard, and then he took off, and that gave him a great angle.
That puts him awfully close to 100 yards already in this first half, as the Bison trying to get some points here to close the first half. Walters takes the snap, rolls to his left. He's going to throw it, and it's dropped by number 23, Giovanni Bartone.
Walters pass intended for number 23, Giovanni
Yeah,
Bartone.
that was needed. And
down.
because he was near the out of bounds, he could have stepped right out, and we'd still have our 3 timeouts.
Absolutely. Like you said, with 3 timeouts, the whole field is open right now. So they can, the whole playbook's at their disposal, as they got a 2nd down and 10 at the Fairview 46-yard line. This drive starting after a blocked field goal attempt. As Walters back in the shotgun, takes a snap. He's going to take it himself up the middle to the 40. He's got some room up to the 35. First down for Dominic Walters, as he has really come on in this quarter running the ball.
Yeah, if he just would have had a little bit more room along that sideline, I think he could have got another 10 or 15 yards out of that.
And once again, he steps out of bounds, so that stops the clock at 1:18 to go here in a tie game, 7-7. First down and 10 at the 36-yard line. Walters back in the shotgun, Sadowski to his left. Walters takes a snap. He's going to throw it to Sadowski, and it is through his hand.
Yeah, it tipped. The linebacker, 32 of Fairview, got his hand up and tipped it just enough.
Yep.
Now, when that happens, you want to anticipate it not being tipped, that it's going to come to you as fast as it was released, because it's easier to adjust after the ball is tipped. But if you think it's tipped and going slower, and then it can eat your hands up real fast, and it's easier to drop. But that's easier said than done, right?
Absolutely. But he definitely had some running room if he was able to make that catch. And there's a whistle. Not sure exactly what that was for. I don't see any flags on the play. And maybe they're resetting the play clock. The play clock was down to 0, so I don't think they reset it. So we're back to action here. Walters takes a snap. He hands it off to Sadowski up the middle. He spin move up over the 30 to the 28-yard line for another 8 yards for Skylar Sadowski.
Yeah, that was a great run. The guy tackling him, he literally kind of pushed into the other two defensive players that were near him, and that was fantastic to use the defender's own players against them.
Absolutely.
All right, we have a timeout, so we'll be back right after this message.
Support for Fort Leboeuf Bison football play-by-play on the sunny 105.7 Sports Stream is provided in part by the Corry Federal Credit Union. The Corry Federal Credit Union would like to wish the Bison the best of luck this season. The Corry Federal Credit Union has been serving the community since 1958. They offer a wide range of financial and banking services for you or your business. The Corry Federal Credit Union is located at 728 Worth Street in Corry, 56 North Main Street, Union City, 315 Main Street in Spartansburg, and online at corryfcu.org. The sunny 105.7 Sports Stream thanks the Corry Federal Credit Union, a not-for-profit organization, for their support of Bison football play-by-play.
So coming back with only a minute left, 1:04 seconds at 7-7, it wouldn't surprise me if they get a first down that they then take one shot to the end zone just to soften up the safeties a little bit and push them back so they can run more effectively for the rest of the drive.
Yep. And with 2 timeouts to go, they can go anywhere. As Walters takes a snap, he's going to pitch it out to Sadowski, and he's got the first down and more up over the 25 to the 24-yard line. As that will be enough for a first down. And once again, he steps out of bounds, and that will stop the clock.
Yeah, that was a good read option. They were all the way over to mostly the right side of the field, so they ran it left where they had more green space, and that was just a beautiful pitch. A lot harder to do than you might think when a defender's coming down on you.
First down and 10 at the 25-yard line. Low snap. Walters over the middle. It is caught for a first down. That's stretching down inside the 5-yard line to the 4. As that is a 21-yard pass and catch.
Vamera was going for the end zone, but because the pressure got in so quick, he did the dump down pass, and that was just the right thing to do. That was perfect.
And they're hurrying up. 40 seconds to go. Walters hands it off around the right side. And short of the first down.
They're jumping for the ball on the ground. I don't know if he lost it or if he was already down.
That was Skylar
Fairview's
Sadowski
trying to act like they got it.
Yep.
I don't see any signal.
I think they're saying that he was down. That was Skylar Sadowski with a 3-yard gain up to the 1-yard line, and that will set up a second down and goal at the 1 with 27.9 seconds to go here in the first half.
This is great situational football. The coaches are calling the right plays. The players are executing them. In the middle of that read option, it was the right thing to do to pitch. Great dump down pass across the line of scrimmage. When you could tell they kind of wanted to go to Vamero, everybody's just clicking on all cylinders right now. And they only have a yard more to go.
And they got 3 shots to get that 1 yard. So they still have 1 timeout to go. And I don't think they're going to kick a field goal from the 1. So if they don't make it on the first 2 plays, they're going to go for it on 4th down. But like I said, with Walters and Sadowski in the backfield, they can still afford to run the ball here and still have time to get another player or two off.
Do you go with a QB sneak and like Philadelphia and do a little bit of the tush push, as they call it?
Yep. I mean, Walters did that when they were backed up at their own 1 yard line, and he gained 6 yards. So that would not be a bad call right now.
Yeah, and they did. They pushed that line easily.
Yep. Well, Walters is in the shotgun. He hands it off to Sadowski up the middle. Touchdown! Skylar Sadowski with 24.8 seconds to go here in the first half has given the Bison a 13-7 lead pending the extra point.
Yeah, and this will change the momentum of the game big time. It's going to change how they approach things after halftime. It's going to change a lot of what they do.
And as we said a couple minutes ago, the Bison get the opening kickoff in the second half too, so a chance to double up and get a couple back-to-back scores as Kansas' extra point is up and good. So it's 24 seconds to go here in the first half. 14-7, Fort Leboeuf.
Support for this broadcast is provided by Family Ink Innovations, specializing in screen printing, banners, yard signs, and much more. Located at 319 High Street in Waterford and 104 West Smith Street in Corry, and online at FamilyInkInnovations.com. Phone 814-462-6628. The Sunny 105.7 Sports Stream thanks Family Ink Innovations for their support.
Yeah, and that's exactly how you want to play it. If they can come back and get a touchdown after halftime, it changes everything they do on defense, can change everything that they do on offense, and it really takes the pressure off and is going to place the pressure on the Fairview quarterback, Bennett, for the whole second half. And now that he lost the receiver, if he's not able to come back, Nesbitt, that's going to just put a lot of pressure on him, and he doesn't have a lot of experience at quarterback. So that's really going to be the advantage of Fort Leboeuf.
Absolutely. And that was an 82-yard drive after the blocked field goal. So that was a 10-point swing after the field goal. And they marched down the field in just 2 minutes and 13 seconds. So huge drive to end the first half as this ball is going to come down short of the end zone. Taking it to 6. He's hit and bounces off a couple players, and he's going to be dropped at the 25-yard line. And that was O'Reilly.
20-yard return.
Now, Bennett seems to have a really strong arm. So do you throw a Hail Mary? Do you try to launch one deep with 17 seconds left?
It'll be interesting to see what they do. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, what do they have to lose, right?
Absolutely. But it looks like,
at the very least, you're making the Bisons run down the field one last time, and maybe you get them a little more tired than what they would have been.
Yeah. And I see Nesbitt is back in the game, so they are lining up in the victory formation.
Okay.
So Nesbitt's injury was not as serious as it looked, and Fairview will just take this into halftime as they kneel on the ball, and that will bring the first half to a close with the Fort Leboeuf Bison 14 and the Fairview Tigers 7.
And we are getting ready for the Fort Leboeuf band to come out onto the field. We're going to hang our microphone over the ledge here so you can hear it. And we will see you on the other side of halftime for the Corry Federal Credit Union halftime show.
It's okay if you don't. I was just curious. I don't have any that wouldn't be good, would it?
This guy's gonna synchronize that. Looks like the slot. No, that's for them, for us.
Oh, for us. Oh, okay. I have us just 3 for 4 for 58 yards. I might have missed a couple of completions. Yeah, they only have 3 completions. Sunny 105.7. Yeah. Yeah, we streamed the game live on the internet, so. What's that?
How many times did they watch me run up? Oh no, I was trying to fix this shit earlier. I just thought about that.
It's all going to come down to defense.
Absolutely. Looking, that's good. You catch him all the time. He only had 9 catches all year. No, he's a pro. I don't know if he was.
But halftime stiffness. So he might be good enough to go.
Right.
That's a thing. So I don't know what he it's a twisted ankle. It was like a bruise. Hip hamstring. Camera's just not looking good. I think I'm going to give him my iPad. You started out. That's fine. Probably should too.
All right, we are back here for the Corry Federal Credit Union halftime show as we have the Fort Leboeuf Bison up 14-7 over the Fairview Tigers in a pretty competitive first half. Before we talk about that, let me give you some scores from last night. couple of Thursday night games in Region 5 as Girard knocked off Harbor Creek in a close one, 32-30. And Corry gave Northeast their second loss of the season, defeating them 34-16. So both Corry and Northeast are 5-2 overall. And the rest of the standings, Fort Leboeuf is on top at 2-0. Corry and Girard at 2-1 in the region. Northeast and Harbor Creek both 1-2 in the region, and Fairview is at the bottom at 0-2. So this is a big game for Fort Leboeuf to go to 3-0 and hold on to sole possession of first place in the region. So just a couple stats from the first half. Skylar Sadowski rushed for 90 yards on 14 rushes in the first half. So, you know, he could make it close to that 200-yard mark where he could get close to 1,000 yards for the season, as Dominic Walters rushed the ball for four times for 29 yards. While on the other side of the ledger, Jeremiah Bennett completed 5 passes for 85 yards, all to Javis Nesbitt, their very talented freshman. So that will be a big key in the second half if Nesbitt can come back. He was injured on defense a little while ago. Now, he did come back out for that last play, but we'll see if he's well enough to actually play in the second half.
Well, and that's just it. We don't know what he's dealing with, but the thing about some injuries is halftime, they stiffen up on you. They don't actually loosen up. Now, I'm sure they had trainers look at him and all that stuff, but it's quite possible, even if he's out there, he's not as effective. And that would really obviously be Fort Leboeuf's benefit. But what I noticed in the first half is the hard count was the best play that Fairview had on offense. And I'm not saying they didn't make some good plays, but it was making everything second and short, third and short, and so or first and 5.
Absolutely.
And you can do so many more things when that happens. So if they score if Fort Leboeuf scores coming out of halftime, and they can make it 21-7 instead of the 14-7 that it is, right out of the gate, they're not going to have to fall for that hard count as much. Because they're going to have a little cushion on the scorer, and they're not going to have to get those splash plays on defense. They can just do the fundamental plays. But also, the plays that really worked and really opened things up outside of the hard count were the passes out into the flat. Mm-hmm. The quarterback they have right now with Bennett, a young quarterback who's tall, athletic, strong, he's making a lot of those passes ad-libbing. And you want to get pressure on him so he doesn't have the ability to ad-lib. I think we're much better off with him being in the pocket, making those timing throws. I actually think because of the lack of experience as starter, he does better when he has to ad-lib. He has that confidence physically to trust his arm in that regard. And a lot of times when you ad-lib, it gives the receivers to run to open space where the defensive backs lose them. I mean, a defensive back is really going to be able to cover somebody really well for about 3 seconds.
Absolutely.
After that, you're going to lose that advantage you have against the receiver, and depending how the quarterback rolls out and what they have in place, does the receiver come up for a pass when the QB rolls out? Does he go deep? They seem to know what to do when he starts moving around. So I almost think we need to keep him in the pocket, make the penetration up the middle, have the edge rushers, keep them from being able to roll out, and try to get pressure that way.
Absolutely. And you mentioned earlier, I think you said this on the air, but you might have said it to me off the air, but you kind of compared him to Ben Roethlisberger a little bit. You know, I see a lot of another former Steeler quarterback, and it kind of reminds me of a Cordell Stewart type too, with his running ability, his athletic ability, and you know, he, like you said, he ad-libs a lot, and he is better out of the pocket than he is in the pocket.
Well, absolutely. Think about it. If Big Ben didn't have all those ad-lib plays, would he have 2 Super Bowls?
Definitely.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Because when his mobility slowed down, he got the stats You know, he became the regular season hero.
Right.
But he wasn't able to move deep into the playoffs. And your ability to play off script is so beneficial. Not necessary, but beneficial if you have that next layer of offense you can bring to the table. Because once your play breaks down, if you can still move around and still get a splash play, that's just so disheartening to the defense.
Absolutely. And like you said, you know, it's very difficult for a defensive back to cover for more than a couple seconds. So, you know, once he is moving around in that pocket, those wide receivers are ad-libbing as well. And, you know, it's almost like sandlot football after a while, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. And hey, there's nothing wrong with sandlot football.
Definitely.
Nothing wrong with it at all. So we're getting ready for our third quarter kickoff coming out of halftime.
And with the Bison scoring right at the end of the first half, let's see if they can double it up here and get the 2-for-1. As here's the kick. Short of the end zone, and it's going to be taken at the 1 yard line. Up over to the 20, the 25. I think that was Dominic Walters, number 1, who, oh no, that was Sadowski that took that kickoff, and he gets it up to the 24 yard line, I believe.
Hold that, Kermit Smith, Holly on the stop. Bison take over first and 10.
Not a great return, but
24 yard line.
a little better than the 20.
Now let's see if the Bison can sustain a drive here and take control of this ball game. As Walters is going to start off in the shotgun. Takes snap. Oh, bad snap. And the ball's fumbled forward, and
Aaron snap covered by Walters.
So I'm not sure who the receiver was or the tight end that went in motion, but when that ball was snapped, it hit him. And the snap was just a little early. That's going to be a waste of a down, and now it's 2nd and 12.
Yep, good job by Walters to fall back on that ball.
Yeah, it's 14-7. If they can get down there and at least get a field goal, that's gonna really help them manage the rest of the game.
Absolutely. There's a man in motion as Walters takes a snap. He's going to pitch it out to Sadowski. Spin move up close to the 30-yard line for a gain of about 3. As that'll bring up a 3rd down and long here on their first possession of the second half. Big play here early on as their Bison are only up by 7.
They've done a lot of rollouts to the left in the passing game in the first half. So I'm curious if they're going to do something to counter that, because if I was playing defense, that's what I would anticipate right now.
Black goes in motion, reverses field, and Walters takes a snap. He's got some running room. He's up over to the 30, and he's fighting his way, but he's going to be hauled down short of the first down. As he's going to be, he gains about 7.
In about 8 yards.
That's going to bring it up a 4th and short. But let's see what they do here. 4th and about 1 at the 40, at the 33.
I don't see Cants coming out.
Nope, they're keeping their offense out there. So
I agree with this. They should be able to get these 2 yards.
And they do have.
And it is possible they just go for to try to get them to jump off sides.
Yep. And that's looks like what they might be doing. Play clock's under 10. But with their running game, you're right, they should be able to get a yard. Oh, and I think Fort Leboeuf jumped first.
They wanted to snap that ball.
Yep.
And I saw him immediately go to the center and say something. And I think they had the play they wanted.
Yeah.
It's just didn't communicate it, didn't process it properly.
Yep, and that will force a 3 and out and a punt with 9 minutes and 34 seconds to go here in the third quarter.
All right, so they're not going to get that extra advantage we were hoping for, but if they get a decent punt here, They get the ball back. They're still in really good position.
And here's the kick. It's a high end-over-end kick. Calls for a fair catch at the 36-yard line. That's O'Reilly with the fair catch.
Take over 1st and 10.
And that will bring up Fairview's first possession of the second half.
The 37-yard line.
And with 9 minutes and 12 seconds to go here in the third quarter, the Bison are clinging to a 7-point lead. And this is a big possession here for the Fort Leboeuf defense. If they can hold them and, not let them go down and score.
Do we see Nesbitt playing right now?
Let's see.
Number 7.
Yeah, I can't tell. There's a snap. He gives it to O'Reilly. He's around the end, and he gets up to about the 40-yard line. And no, Nesbitt was not out there for that field or for that play.
That was good effort of the running back. It took several of the Bison to bring him down.
Absolutely.
And I'm surprised the forward progress wasn't whistled a little sooner, but he must have been moving that pile.
And they have a pretty good running back duo with Oldak and O'Reilly, as they both bring a little bit different skills to the backfield here, as O'Reilly goes out and Oldak is behind Bennett right now, and he had fumbled exchange there as Oldak did not get the ball, and Fort Leboeuf recovers it.
Well,
and that is a huge play.
I can't help but think, with Nesbitt not being out there right now, that the quarterback isn't going to have nearly as much confidence as he would with him, and so there might be some overthinking going on. And just like the first drive of the game, they looked a little stiff there.
Absolutely. As the Bison take over in Fairview territory, it's a 39-yard line. That's the first turnover of the ball game for either team. I take that back. There was an interception earlier as Walters threw an interception. But Sadowski takes the handoff, and he's fighting his way up towards the first down. And
Sadowski, the ball carrier.
That's going to be awful close to a first down, and looks like they're going to mark him maybe a yard short.
Caught the Nesbitt on the stop.
Yeah, and the defense was able to get a little bit of penetration there, but he just jumped back and forth, left and right, moving forward, and that was a really solid run. That was a satisfying run.
Absolutely. Sadowski with a 9-yard gain on first down brings up 2nd and 1. Bartone goes in motion, fakes the handoff, and Walters is going to keep it himself. He's up over the 25. He makes a move. He gets to the outside to the 20. He's up to the 10, and he's knocked down at the 8-yard line.
What a beautiful run.
What a run for 23 yards for Dominic Walters.
It looked like he was running through a maze. There was no way to predict which direction he was going to go next.
That was impressive, as Walters kept the ball and faked the handoff, and he started off up the middle, went to the right, and he ended up on the left sideline, as that'll set up a first down and goal at the 9-yard line. With 7:15 to go here, the Bison trying to extend their 14-7 lead.
I really like that run because just like we talked about GM last week, not even the running back not getting past the last blocker until about 5 yards down the field. It was very similar to that last play.
Walters takes a snap. He hands it off this time to Sadowski, up over the 5, in close to the end zone.
He was down. He's calling him down.
They're going to mark him down at the 1-yard line again.
Yeah, if you're going to stretch out like that, you better make sure you get the ball either across the goal line or you get down before you lose it.
Absolutely.
But the temptation of stretching that arm out is just too great.
Yep. And that sets up a 2nd down and goal inside the 1, as the Bison are poised to take a 2-touchdown lead here in this ball game. As Walters is going to line up in the shotgun. Sadowski to his right. Takes a snap. He hands it off inside, and He is stopped short.
Yeah, he was definitely down before the ball crossed.
And that was Sadowski.
Nesbitt and off on the stop, 3rd and goal.
With no gain on that one. So that's going to bring up a 3rd and goal inside the 1.
Yeah, they're going to be going for this all the way to 4th down if they have to. And while they weren't able to do this on the drive right after halftime, essentially that's what they're getting right now with this drive.
Definitely.
You definitely want to score a touchdown here on 3rd down.
Walters in the shotgun. Gives it to Sadowski, who's tripped up in the end zone. The ball came loose. I think he was down. They are going to mark him down. But that was a nice tackle by that defensive lineman as he tripped him up in the backfield, just dove at his feet.
Yeah, they're anticipating that run right now.
4th and goal.
And I'm not sure if 4th down, if you want to change it to something more creative or if you just want to go with a QB keeper.
And it looks like they're keeping their offense out on the field. 4th down and goal with the 1.
Yeah, even if they don't make it here, it's going to be really hard for Fairview to drive 99 yards.
Absolutely. Walters going under center this time. Might see the quarterback sneak, and he is going to try to sneak it in, and he goes in untouched.
Yep.
That was too easy for Walters.
He just slid down the line to the right of the guard and then just ran right up his right shoulder.
Yep.
And didn't even get touched.
And that will make the score 20-7. As the Bison are an extra point away from taking a 14-point lead here in the second half. Cans lining it up. Here's the snap, low snap, and the play is
I think there was a false start on that.
Yep, play is blown dead before the snap.
Now this is going to change everything they can do on defense. Right now, up by 2 scores, even if they don't make this extra point, they're going to be able to pin their ears back at linebacker. They just have to be careful they don't give the quarterback a chance to run to the right or the left outside the pocket. They want to keep their pressure coming up the middle. And he has a long delivery, the quarterback does. Mm-hmm. And so not only when you come up the middle are you going to have the chance to get a sack, but you're going to mess up his mechanics a little bit. While he has a beautiful throw and he can ad lib, it's still a very long stride and a big windup.
Oh, and they called that on Fairview. So let's see if that changes what Fort Leboeuf wants to do. They might go for it being from the 1 yard line as opposed to the 2 for the extra point.
Yeah, I didn't see a defender jump. I only saw the Fort Leboeuf lineman go early, so that's a huge advantage for the Bison.
And the Bison are going to bring their offense back on the field to go for 2 as Dominic Walters is in the shotgun. Sadowski to his left. He hands it to Sadowski, and he is in for the conversion.
So they went right back to the play that didn't work for the touchdown, but they didn't lose faith in it.
Absolutely. And with 4 minutes and 49 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter, the Fort Leboeuf Bison take a 22-7 lead, and we will pause for a word from our sponsors.
Support for Fort Leboeuf Bison football play-by-play on the sunny 105.7 Sports Stream is provided in part by the Corry Federal Credit Union. The Corry Federal Credit Union would like to wish the Bison the best of luck this season. The Corry Federal Credit Union has been serving the community since 1958. They offer a wide range of financial and banking services for you or your business. The Corry Federal Credit Union is located at 728 Worth Street in Corry, 56 North Main Street, Union City, 315 Main Street in Spartansburg, and online at corryfcu.org. The sunny 105.7 Sports Stream thanks the Corry Federal Credit Union, a not-for-profit organization, for their support of Bison football play-by-play.
So right now we're at a 15-point advantage, which is 2 touchdowns, an extra point, and a 2-point conversion. And I think that puts us in a really good position for the rest of the game. With only under 5 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, the Bison are in the driver's seat.
Definitely, and especially if Nesbitt for Fairview is not able to go. that's going to limit their passing game as that kickoff is blown dead before it gets started.
Well, and as a quarterback, when you don't have one of your best players out there, you can go ahead and start playing tight because you're trying to be more perfect than you otherwise would be, where you can kind of just rip the pass. Okay, kicking team was offsides. We haven't seen that one yet this year.
No. And I do see Nesbitt on the sidelines down there. He doesn't have his helmet on right now, so we'll see if he does come out. He is standing on his own, so we'll see if he's able to go here in the last quarter and a half.
Well, and in this drive, if they're going to put pressure on the quarterback, the defensive backs are going to start looking for interceptions. Now, he throws a really nice ball. I don't know how easy that's going to be, but that's what you have to be thinking when you're on defense right now.
Yep. And the referees forgot to move the kickoff back 5 yards. They set it back at the original kicking spot, so now they're readjusting and moving it back 5 yards after the offsides.
Well, Cants usually can put it in the end zone, but he still might be able to, but we're going to have to make sure we get our coverage down there as quick as we can, because this is going to give them a better chance. With more space, they're going to have more time to run up the field before our tacklers reach their blockers. And that could change it very much. And they've already had a decent return.
And here's the run up and the kick. And that's going to go sideways towards the out of bounds. It's going to be covered up at the 20-yard line. And that was a nice kick by Cants. It stayed in bounds, and it didn't go long enough for it to be caught by the returning team.
Well, yeah, and he had to jump right on it because that's a live ball.
Absolutely.
The kicking team could get that ball. So they took what could have been a disadvantage without being able to get down the field as quick, and they turned it into a positive.
Yep, and the Fairview returner was not able to pick it up without being on the ground. So as soon as he picked it up, the ball was dead. And that'll start him off at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10, 4:47 to go, third quarter, 22-7 Fort Leboeuf. 3 receivers in the formation as Bennett's going to roll to the right. He's going to throw it, and it is caught right at the sideline.
Okay, so the coach must have been thinking, coach for Fairview must have been thinking what I was thinking. And he automatically wanted him to roll out.
Yeah.
He was anticipating the pressure coming up the middle.
Yep, and that was incomplete. I apologize for that. So he did not come down with that catch, and now we'll move it back to 2nd down and 10. As that ball was intended for Langston Pustelak-Haynes, who has been their leading receiver all year, but he does not have a catch today. As Bennett's going to hand off up the middle, and that's O'Reilly. He spins around, gets up to about the 25-yard line for about 4 yards.
That was a misdirection, fake, basically a fake end around. Then it turned into a counter with the running back. That was a beautifully designed play to keep the linebackers at bay.
That was. And he gained about 5 yards, so that'll set up about 3rd and 5 at the 25. As Fairview needs to convert here to keep this drive alive. As Bennett's going to roll to his left. He's got him in. It's tipped and falls incomplete, out of bounds. Is that Walters that tipped that? May have been Walters. He was there on the coverage. Anyway.
Well, I'm just noticing Bennett. Notice how he didn't have a single pass in the pocket. So they're trying to use his ability to ad lib and get outside the pocket so they don't feel that pressure. That's not a bad idea from the coach. I just don't know if they have the receivers that are going to be able to get open.
Right. And that is a 3 and out for Fairview, as Fort Leboeuf is going to get excellent field position here. And here's the punt, low line drive, and it's called for a fair catch by number 10, Dominic Wolforth.
Yeah, I like that he did that because that ball was coming really hard, and he didn't feel like he was going to be able to get momentum going forward, and he just wanted to make sure he had the decent field position around the 40. If that would have gone past them, that could have gone another 20 yards.
Absolutely. And, calling for the fair catch. Yeah, he might have gained some yards if he had caught it and ran, but you don't want to take a chance of having a turnover in this situation. Just secure the ball and go from there. As Fort Leboeuf's taken over at the 39-yard line of their own 39-yard line. Let's see if they can get a long, sustained drive as we have less than 4 minutes to go here in the third quarter as they're up by 15. Brady Black goes in motion, and Walters are going to keep this one, and he's dropped for a loss of about 2 yards.
Yeah, he had a chance to pitch to Sadowski, but their defensive end, or defensive tackles, 78 and 77, were up in the pathway close enough that if he pitched it, they might have tapped it, and they might have been able to recover it.
Right.
So they're playing smart right now. Just don't lose the game.
Absolutely. Yep, just hold on to the ball.
Don't make risky plays.
They give him forward progress back to the line of scrimmage, so it's 2nd down and 10. And he's going to give this one to Sadowski. He's up over the 40.
There we
Makes
go.
a move to the 50. Across midfield to the 30.
Sadowski with the ball.
35-yard line, and he's knocked out of bounds.
Pushed out by Herman.
As he gains about 25 yards on that play. Maybe more.
Yeah, I mean, he showed speed, he showed quickness. If I had to nitpick, I would say try to stay in bounds just to eat the clock up faster, because right now the time is against Fairview, but that's nitpicking. I don't think you have to consider that truly until the fourth quarter.
Definitely. And with a 15-point lead, it's not that big of an issue right now, as the Bison are trying to go up by 3 scores here. And Walters is going to roll out to the right. He finds his man, and that's Strutchen, who's over the 20 to the 17-yard line. And that's another Fort Leboeuf first down.
Walters pass complete to
The Bison are just moving the ball at will right now.
And Walters does a really good job. He does a good job rolling out both directions. But when he rolls out to the right, because we're able to run the ball to the left, it just seems like he gets a lot more wide open looks to throw to the receiver for whatever reason.
Empty backfield, 5 receivers in the formation. Black goes in motion. He's going to take the handoff up over the 15 to the 10-yard line. And that's about the 4th time they've tried that play. That's the first time it's actually worked, as Black gets it about 8 yards up to the 10.
Yeah, and right now we're just dominating every position out there running the ball.
You can see
this is what we were hoping to do earlier in the game.
Yep, you can see the wind go out of the sails a little bit of Fairview as they're
timeout Fairview.
Yep, and that's going to be their first time out of the second half, I believe.
Yep, and we're going to have a word from our sponsor.
Fort Leboeuf football coverage on the Sunny 105.7 Corry Federal Credit Union Sports Stream is brought to you by Jim Brozell Construction at 9298 Peach Street in Waterford. Phone 814-866-2075. Wise Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine in Waterford. Online at wisept.com. Al's Appliance Sales and Service at 110 High Street in Waterford. Phone 814-796-4007. Fort Leboeuf football coverage on the Sunny 105.7 Corry Federal Credit Union Sports Stream is brought to you by High T Fence Systems in Waterford. Online at hightfenceinc.com. O'Brien Transmission Service in Youngsville. Phone 814-563-7120. J.H. Napa Auto Parts in Corry, Union City, and Waterford. Online at napaonline.com.
Okay, and we are back. 2 minutes left in the third quarter. The score is 22-7. The Bison are in the lead against Fairview. And we have 2nd down and 10 to go. Or no, 2nd down and 2 to go.
Now Walters in an empty backfield. Strutchen goes in motion. Walters going to take it up the middle, and he is into the end zone. He did not get touched until he was about the 2-yard line, as he gets in for a 12-yard or a 10-yard touchdown to extend the Bison lead to 28-7.
Yeah, and they're definitely in the driver's seat, and this is what they wanted to do. It took them a little long to get the traction they were looking for, but I think you can say that they've dominated most of this game.
Absolutely. And with their defense, and, Fairview doesn't have a high-powered offense, this may be an insurmountable lead for the Bison as Cans kicks it through for the point after, and that will make the score 29-7 Fort Leboeuf with 2 minutes and 2 seconds to go, and we will be right back.
Support for Fort Leboeuf Bison football play-by-play on the Sunny 105.7 Sports Stream is provided in part by the Corry Federal Credit Union. The Corry Federal Credit Union would like to wish the Bison the best of luck this season. The Corry Federal Credit Union has been serving the community since 1958. They offer a wide range of financial and banking services for you or your business. The Corry Federal Credit Union is located at 728 Worth Street in Corry, 56 North Main Street, Union City, 315 Main Street in Spartansburg, and online at corryfcu.org. The Sunny 105.7 Sports Stream thanks the Corry Federal Credit Union, a not-for-profit organization, for their support of Bison football play-by-play.
All right, we're back here. Lucas Cans lining up for his 5th kickoff of the night as the Bison lead 29-7 with 2:02 to go here in the third quarter in a pretty fast-moving game. We're almost at the end of the third quarter here as he just kind of pooches it down, and that's going to bounce, and it goes out of bounds, but I believe it was touched inbounds. So that will set up Fairview inside the 20 at about the 17-yard line. I think it might have bounced out of bounds on its own if he hadn't touched it.
It might have, and he missed out on a few yards there.
Yep, if that ball goes out of bounds on its own, that would have set him up at the 40-yard line. So that was a loss of about 23 yards by him touching the ball out of bounds.
Yeah, Fairview's going to have a hard time coming back if they don't have the receiver that can stretch the field. It wouldn't surprise me if they do a lot of QB runs and a lot of the short passes like they did before. I don't think just going deep is going to work for them.
Definitely. He's under center for, I think, the first time all game, as he is going to keep it on the ground.
Ooh,
and
good hit.
He is stacked up and brought down after a gain of about 3 yards.
Yeah. They're not in the Wildcat formation, but that's essentially what that was. They put a guy. They put a guy to lead him as he rolled out slightly to go to the left of the tackle. But that's just how hard they're having of a time to block the Bison. He got tackled pretty quick.
Absolutely. And I did see Nesbitt is back in the game now. As Bennett takes the snap, he hands it off to Odak. He makes a couple people miss, and he gets up for a first down over the 30-yard line to about the 31. So that will keep the drive going for Fairview with 1:16 to go here in the third quarter. Bennett.
29-7. That's a good score. If we could get about 40, it would be nice to put up 40 points for a game.
Absolutely. As Bennett under center again. Going to take the snap, and he keeps it. He might have fumbled the ball.
He did.
As he was able to retrieve the ball after the loss of it, and he may have lost a yard on that play.
Well, and that's where experience comes in. When you're not getting a good read on that read option, and you're not pulling the ball back, or you're not comfortable working with that halfback, that's a relationship you build, in the summer and August and throughout the course of the season. And right now you can tell they know what to do. They're just not comfortable doing it with one another right now.
Yeah, and it seemed like he was kind of indecisive whether he wanted to pull that ball back or leave it to his running back, as Bennett goes deep on this one, and that was Pustelak Haynes, the intended receiver, and that ball is incomplete.
Yeah, and he was covered. Really strong arm by Bennett. but that would have been a perfect pass.
Yeah, and they're going to have to hit a couple of those big plays if they want to get back in this ball game, as we are under 10 seconds to go here in the third quarter, maybe the last play of the quarter coming up here.
Yeah, the DBs just don't have to worry about the run game right now. They can put all their focus on the receivers.
It's a 3rd down and 9 as Bennett goes back to pass, setting up a screen pass to
great play, play.
As he's over the 50 to the 40, breaks a couple tackles, and that was Nesbitt, who was injured in the first half, and he is back in the game, looking better, as good as ever.
That is the end of the third quarter with zeros on the clock. The middle screen, talked about it, short passes, QB runs, right? I have not seen a good middle screen in forever. It is probably one of the most underutilized screen passes, but it can be so effective in the right situation.
Absolutely, and they set that up perfectly, as he had a whole host of blockers in front of him, and he gained about 30 yards on that play. And yeah, that was, just letting your playmakers make plays on that one, as he didn't really get touched until the last 5 or 10 yards of his run. So we are getting ready for the fourth quarter of action, as the Bison hold a 29-7 lead.
All right, I just did a quick Google because I wanted to make sure I had the right coach. Do you know who was really good at throwing middle screens? Tom Landry from the Dallas Cowboys back in the day. He had a system. He thought he could play with any quarterback. He thought his system was that great. And he wasn't wrong. It was a pretty great system. But he used that middle screen to perfection to help him win down in Dallas.
Absolutely. Yep, he was one of the best. And we're getting ready for fourth quarter action as Bennett hands it off up the middle to Oldak, and he gets about 5 yards up to the 30-yard line. As Brady Black makes the tackle.
Gain of 5 yards in play, 2nd and 5.
And Fairview needs to come away with a touchdown on this drive in order to have a shot in this ball game. The Fort Leboeuf defense trying to prevent that from happening. Bennett takes the snap. Quick throw to Oldak, but it's too far.
He just rushed that. If he could have just waited a split second longer, that pass would have fallen right on the numbers.
Yep. He could. He needed to put a little bit more air under that to let Oldak run under that one, but that sets up a 3rd down and 5 at the 30-yard line.
The Bison want to be careful. They don't play the flat too quickly, because that might make them susceptible to a deep pass. And their coaches are going to be looking for any opportunity to go deep.
The Fairview band is continuing to play. They're seated right next to us, and that play is blown dead before it gets started. And
is that a timeout?
Looks like a timeout.
Yeah, the clock.
By Fairview.
The play clock was going to go down.
Yep.
So we're going to hear a word from our sponsor.
Support for Fort Leboeuf Bison football play-by-play on the sunny 105.7 Sports Stream is provided in part by the Corry Federal Credit Union. The Corry Federal Credit Union would like to wish the Bison the best of luck this season. The Corry Federal Credit Union has been serving the community since 1958. They offer a wide range of financial and banking services for you or your business. The Corry Federal Credit Union is located at 728 Worth Street in Corry, 56 North Main Street, Union City, 315 Main Street in Spartansburg, and online at corryfcu.org. The sunny 105.7 Sports Stream thanks the Corry Federal Credit Union, a not-for-profit organization, for their support of Bison football play-by-play.
Okay. And we are back.
3rd down and 5. Big play here as Bennett hands it off up the middle. And that's Oldak, and he's going to have enough for the first down up over the 25 to about the 24. as they move the chains once again.
Carson Stoles on the stop.
Well, and we have some people commenting on our YouTube broadcast wanting to see some backups, kind of see what the future might hold, and I couldn't agree more. That's one of my favorite things to see in sports when a game is a little lopsided. But if they score here, we might not see that.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's too close right now, and like I said, Fairview's on the march as this play is blown dead. And we have a defensive penalty on Fort Leboeuf. Although they haven't had as many penalties as they have in prior games this year. So
no, they had a handful on that one drive, and then not as many.
And most of their penalties have been jumping off sides on defense. So.
And that hasn't come to get them right now, but if other teams see how they're willing to jump on this type of snap count, they're going to have to practice that so they don't get taken advantage of. And
definitely. And there's a major hit by Hunter Huck as that ball falls incomplete.
And that was to Nesbitt.
He gets up slow on that one, but that was a clean hit.
Yeah.
As he was hit just after touching the ball.
And that's the tightness. You know, when you're not at full strength, you're not going to be as quick. And it definitely looked like something with his legs was slowing him down earlier. So you got to be very careful because he's not going to be able to run after the catch like he might have before he started hurting.
That brings up a second down and 19, or second down and 5 at the 19 for Fairview, as Bennett's going to throw the ball again, and that is to Nesbitt, and that's complete up over the 15.
Yeah.
And another first down.
I think they're going to call that on the Bison for leading with the helmet.
Hit to the head.
Yeah. We got to be careful. There's a fine line between hard hits and dirty play, and I'm not saying that was their intention, but I know they want to make themselves present, and they want to be seen. But at this point in the game, that's unnecessary.
Absolutely.
That's really unnecessary. Even if they score here,
well,
you're going to be able to eat the clock up on offense. You know they're not going to be able to go 3 and out unless the Bisons make a mistake.
Yeah. Well, there's never a time for leading with your helmet in that case. I mean, just got to be smarter about it, as that'll move the ball half the distance to the goal to the 7.5-yard line. First and goal. And that's O'Reilly who took the direct snap. They took Bennett out of the play on that one, and O'Reilly takes the direct snap in the Wildcat formation, and he gets up to the 2-yard line.
And I bet you we'll see that for the rest of this drive.
And it does appear so. They have both Oldak and O'Reilly in the backfield. Looks like O'Reilly's going to take the snap again. Man goes in motion. He takes the snap. He's going to run it himself, and he's into the end zone for a Fairview Tigers touchdown. And that will cut the Bison lead to 29-13.
And
we might see more of that in upcoming drives, as that formation worked to perfection the last couple plays.
Couple touchdowns with a 2-point conversion. It's going to be really hard to do with 9 minutes and 32 seconds. If they could get 2 or 3 first downs on this next drive, Fort Leboeuf, they're going to pretty much have this one sealed.
Definitely.
But anything can happen, right?
And here's the extra point, and it is up and good. And that will cut the lead to 29-14 with 9 minutes and 32 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. And we will take a break as, well, let's just hold it right here. The officials are talking about something. I don't know if it has anything to do with the extra point or not.
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
All right, so we'll have a word from our sponsor.
Yep.
Support for this broadcast is provided by Family Ink Innovations, specializing in screen printing, banners, yard signs, and much more. Located at 319 High Street in Waterford, and 104 West Smith Street in Corry, and online at FamilyIncInnovations.com. Phone 814-462-6628. The Sunny 105.7 Sports Stream thanks Family Inc. Innovations for their support.
So Fairview, coming off their best drive since the first quarter of the game, has cut the lead to 15 points, and we might be in for a good fourth quarter if they can make some stops here.
And if it wasn't for that hard count, they might not have scored at all tonight. But that is clearly it is showing to be a highly effective hard count.
Yep, Fort Leboeuf's given them a couple free first downs already in this game. As here's an onside kick, and it is it is recovered by Fairview.
Wow, what a great onside kick
that was, and it was I believe it was number 64 for the Bison who had a shot at it. That was John Kerr.
Yeah, it's a lineman, and they're not used to catching that ball with an onside kick.
And that was the surprise onside variety, and that was executed to perfection.
Well, Fairview just made it interesting, didn't they?
Absolutely, as they're going to begin this drive at the Fort Leboeuf 48-yard line. That caught everybody off guard, myself included.
Yeah, we thought they might be packing it in. They're not.
And Bennett takes the snap. He's going to hand off up the middle, and he's going to gain maybe a yard. And that was O'Reilly on that play.
O'Reilly, the ball carrier. Short gain on the play.
That's going to set up a 2nd down and 9 as the Bison defense, who was just on the field for a long drive, is right back out there. So
I'm really surprised they're not going Wildcat with a hurry-up offense, because it was pretty effective.
It was.
And it's proven effective against the Bison in games past. And with just under 9 minutes, I feel like they have enough time.
They definitely do. As there's a handoff to O'Reilly up the middle. He's got to get close to a first down, and there's a flag right at the...
I could be wrong, but that looked like a face mask.
Yep, that was right at the end of the play. And he's close to a first down anyway, and we'll see what the penalty is.
Number 7 is hopping off on his right foot for the Bison. So Vamera looks like he... Oh, it was offense. I think we missed.
That was a holding on Fairview, so that's going to move the ball back 10 yards.
I think we dodged something there. And Vamero was hopping off on one leg, and it looks like we have another player down as well. So we're going to listen to another word from our sponsor, and then we will see what we can find out.
Hey there, I'm the new guy in town. I'm your pal, Big Al Knight, and I'm here weeknights, Monday through Friday, starting at 9 p.m. Yon to dawn, that's right, all through the wee hours of the morning, playing the songs you love to remember, because this is where all the good songs have gone to play. So tune in, right here on
Canada Lake's greatest hits, Sunny 105.7.
It's easy to become a sponsor of Fort Leboeuf Bison football telecasts like this one on Sunny 105.7 Sports Stream. Your business can reach hundreds of Bison fans in the area each week, as well as opposing teams and viewers all over the country with Fort Leboeuf football play-by-play coverage on the Sunny 105.7 Sports Stream. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor, send us an email to info@sunny1057fm.org. info@sunny1057fm.org. Or phone 814-732-0759. That's 814-732-0759.
Okay, we are back, and that looked like it was Caden Vilmer who was getting help off the field. He was able to walk off under his own power, so that's always a good sign.
So that holding call is going to push the ball back to the Fairview 45-yard line, setting up a 2nd down and 17. As Bennett takes the snap, he fakes the run. He's going to air it out deep. He's got 2 receivers in there, and it's intercepted. He's got all the room up the sideline. That's Dominic Walters, and he's going to get up to the 35-yard line before being pushed out of bounds.
That was a great play by Walters. The coach for Fairview made the right call. They saw that Vimera wasn't out there, and they said, okay, that's one of their best defensive backs. Let's try to take advantage of it. Walters must have anticipated that or just plain read that pass beautifully. And I don't even think he was looking for the ball when he ran past. It looked like it fell right into his hands.
It did. And that was Dominic Walters leads the team in interceptions this year. That is his 5th interception of the season.
He is a quality athlete.
He is, going both ways. He doesn't take too many snaps off throughout the game. And that was huge as Fairview had the momentum going after that onside kick. And there's Walters back in the shotgun. He's going to hand the ball off to Sadowski, who's met at the 35-yard line. And he is dropped after a gain of about 2 yards. Approaching 8 minutes to go here in the ball game. 29-14, Bison lead.
And it's just close enough that I don't think we're going to be able to see the backups tonight.
Nope.
But instead of thinking about that, let's just focus on getting another score and putting this away.
Just taking some time off the clock. Walters back to pass. He's flushed out of the pocket. He's going to run it himself. He's up over the 35 to the 30 and very close to a first down. And that will be about a yard short of the sticks.
And that was really smart that he didn't try to go out of bounds. It was 7 minutes, 30 seconds. You're not overly concerned about the clock, but you do want to keep it in mind.
Definitely.
Because it only takes 1 or 2 splash plays to put him back in this.
Big play here. If they can get a first down and wind a bunch of more time off the clock. They're just taking their time and letting the clock run. I hope it doesn't get this close, but a couple years ago, these two teams played a 3 overtime game against each other that the Bison came out on top by a point. So these two teams have played some good games in the past.
Dead ball, encroachment, defense.
And that will
that's help.
That will give the Bison a free first down as Fairview jumped off sides. And that will, at minimum, if they can just stay in bounds and keep the clock running, that's going to take off another 2 minutes off this game clock.
Yeah, so Fairview's going to have to take some aggressive acts to try to get back into this, and one of them is going to be jumping the snap at just the right time to try to get a turnover.
Walters hands it off. That's Strutchen, who gets up over the 10 to the 5-yard line.
Strutchen with the ball.
And Aiden Strutchen with a nice run.
He's happy about that one.
Yep, we haven't seen him in the running game too much this year.
I could be wrong, but he just moved his hand like Ezekiel Elliott used to do, where he said, I want to eat some more. Give me some more, coach.
Absolutely.
You always want ball players that want the ball.
And that puts it at first and goal at the 5-yard line. As Walters in the shotgun. And he's going to hand the ball off, and he's going to go nowhere as he's met at the line of scrimmage, and I see a late flag.
Yeah, I don't think I noticed what that was. Fairview looks disappointed, so I'm not sure if it was against them or not, though.
If it is a defensive penalty, it'll give them an automatic first down.
Nope.
Holding offense.
Oh, okay. He started walking forward a little bit. Maybe they just didn't have the ball in the right spot.
Right. And that'll move it back to about the 14-yard line. Second down and goal with 6:01 to go here in the fourth quarter.
Well, they're a little further away from the goal line. That will open up the passing lanes a little bit better, but you never want to go backwards. And right now we can't get a first down, so we have to score.
Right. But what this also does is it gives them more room, so it might allow them to run some more time off the clock too.
Well, that's true.
So, and there's a low snap. Walters is going to run it himself. And he
Smart.
gets up to the 10-yard line and gets tackled about the 8, and he stopped himself from going out of bounds and turned it back upfield just to keep the clock rolling. And that is a very intelligent play, and that just comes with experience there.
Well, in Fairview, you could tell they were trying to hold him up so they could strip the ball, but I didn't see anybody pulling at the ball. So I think that's what they were attempting to do. They just weren't able to finish it. And you might see that on a couple of the run plays moving forward. They might just try to hold him up and strip the ball.
And that's about their only chance right now, as the play clock is under 10 and the game clock under 5. Second down and goal at the 8, and this ball is handed off to Sadowski, and he is met in the backfield for about a 7-yard loss, as that's all the way back to the 15-yard line.
We haven't seen too many of those tonight, have we?
Nope.
I'm not sure what his total yardage is right now, but he's got to be close to at least between 150 and 200, right?
Yeah, he's probably close to 150, but yeah, we haven't seen much of that all year from Sadowski. He hasn't had too many negative plays.
Well, when you run east-west, you're always giving yourself a chance to be tackled in the backfield.
And third down and goal with the 15 here. Walters takes the snap. He's going to try to throw it over the middle. It's caught and down to about the 7-yard line. And that is Aiden Spruchin. And that's going to set up a 4th down. And it looks like the field goal unit's going to come out to try to extend this to a 3-possession ball game.
Yeah, and we're down to 3 minutes and 46 seconds. With a 29-14 score, this would put us at 32.
Lucas Cantz lining up for a 25-yard field goal. Here's the snap. The ball is down, the kick is up, and it is good.
And that's nice to see that he's getting those field goals through the uprights more consistently.
Yeah, he went through a rough patch a few games ago. And we will take a break here with 3:22 to go here in the 4th quarter.
Fort Leboeuf football coverage on the Sunny 105.7 Corry Federal Credit Union Sports Stream is brought to you by Leboeuf Creek Cattle, phone 814-572-7979. Waterford Beverage at 12001 Peach Street, phone 814-796-2507. Wagon Wheel Bar and Grill at 12711 Route 19 in Waterford, phone 814-796-2017.
Well, Fort Leboeuf has definitely kept the mistakes to a minimum tonight, and that was really the prescription they needed to win this game. And while they might have wanted to put up 40 or so, or maybe I would have wanted to see them put up 40 or so, this was a good quality win. Couple penalties, one turnover, but honestly, that's just the way the ball bounced. I think it was a good throw, it was a good read earlier in the game. It just didn't work out. So they've played mentally a very good game on offense tonight.
Absolutely. And with an 18-point lead and 3:22 to go here in the 4th quarter, the Bison seemingly have this game under control. As there's a little squib kick, it's going to hit an up man, and he's going to be knocked out of bounds at the 33-yard line. And the Bison have matched their season high in points with 32 points. It's actually the 3rd game all year that they've gone over 30 points. So 3 out of their 7 games, they've scored 31 or 32 points. And we'll see what Fairview comes out to do here in the last 3:18 now to go here in the 4th quarter. They got Bennett in the back, lined up in the shotgun. Takes the snap, hands it off around the right side. That's Oldak, and he's going to get close to a 1st down, gets about 8 yards, and that's going to set up a 2nd down and 2. With the Bison leading 32-14. Fairview running out of time here. They go back and huddle up.
It looks like they're just going to probably play it safe, maybe hope for a good run to get some points, but it's pretty much out of reach at this point.
Yep. No
Especially since they're down to one timeout.
Right. No sense of urgency here. As Bennett is going to take the snap. He fakes the handoff. He's going to throw a little pass out to Nesbitt, who has nearly equaled his season total of catches. He came into this game with 9 catches. I believe that's the 7th reception of the game. So,
yeah, but in the second half, those receptions really haven't been threatening.
No. And once again, Nesbitt just a freshman, so he's got a bright future ahead of him for Fairview. As there's a handoff around the right side, and that's Oldak for about 5, and he gets tackled, and he's pushed out of bounds. They stop the clock at 2 minutes and 31 seconds to go.
Gain about 4 yards on a play.
And they are winding the clock now. I didn't think he got out of bounds, but they stopped it momentarily. That's going to set up a 2nd down and 5. Bennett takes a snap, hands it off to Oldak. He's got a 1st down and more, up to the 30, the 25, 15, 10, and he is tracked down from behind. And he is down to the 5-yard line. As I believe that was Hunter Huck who chased him down and made the touchdown-saving tackle.
And they stopped the clock right at 2 minutes, but that's probably going to start back up once they line up the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, once they get the chain set. And that's going to set up a 1st and goal at the 5.
Yeah.
And that field goal on that last possession is looming big now for the Bison, because if this was only a 2-possession game, they're only a touchdown and an onside kick away from having a shot. As this ball is going to be run up the middle by O'Reilly, and he gets into the end zone for a touchdown.
Okay, so now what are we going to see? Extra point or 2-point conversion? I'm thinking 32 to 20. They're down by 12.
Yeah.
You got to go for the 2, right?
Well,
that might not make a difference if you score again.
Yeah, but even the extra point gets you within 11.
Well,
so
that's
it's
true.
a touchdown, a 2-point
right.
conversion, and a field goal.
Either way,
and that's what it looks like it's going to be. Lindenberger's going to come in for the extra point to try to cut it to 11. And here's the snap. The kick is up, and it is good, cutting the lead to 32 to 21 with 1 minute and 34 seconds left to go.
Well, just from a perspective of pride, Fairview isn't giving up. And we're going to have a word from our sponsors.
Support for Fort Leboeuf Bison football play-by-play on the sunny 105.7 Sports Stream is provided in part by the Corry Federal Credit Union. The Corry Federal Credit Union would like to wish the Bison the best of luck this season. The Corry Federal Credit Union has been serving the community since 1958. They offer a wide range of financial and banking services for you or your business. The Corry Federal Credit Union is located at 728 Worth Street in Corry, 56 North Main Street, Union City, 315 Main Street in Spartansburg, and online at corryfcu.org. The sunny 105.7 Sports Stream thanks the Corry Federal Credit Union, a not-for-profit organization, for their support of Bison football play-by-play.
Well, and you're going to see the hands team out for this onside kick. This one's going to be anticipated.
Yep, yeah, they will be ready for this one, as they have 10 guys up between the 50 and the 40-yard line to get this onside kick. 32 to 21, Bison lead. And here it comes, and it goes to 10 yards, and I believe Fairview recovered it again.
Wow.
That was the kick. That was the kicker, Lindenberger, who came in and recovered the onside kick. And like I said, that field goal for Fort Leboeuf on their last possession looms huge now.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, anything can happen. They got 93 seconds left.
That's why they play the
to
game.
pull off a miracle. I can't believe that they got 2 onside kicks. It looked like the Bison were unsure of when to jump on it.
And as the receiving team, you don't have to let it go 10 yards. And I hope their coaches are telling them that if it comes to another onside kick, because they're allowed to go up and grab it before 10 yards. The offense, the kicking team, just can't touch it. And Bennett's going to go deep to try to strike quick, and that is just out of the reach of Pustelak Haynes, as that would have been a quick strike.
Oh, there was another flag, but in the area of holding.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. And
guys, come on now.
And that's going to move it 15 yards closer.
Now, see, what can happen when you're on defense in this case is your pride kicks in. You're embarrassed you gave up 2 onside kicks. You're embarrassed you gave up a big run when you had such a lead, and you start pressing. They got to take a deep breath and just play the moment right now and let all that other stuff go. If they try to make up for the mistakes in the past, they're going to make more mistakes right now.
Absolutely. 1:28 to go. First down and 10 at the 34. Bison defense needs to tighten up. And he rolls out. The ball is tipped by Aiden Strutchen.
Yep.
As that
Strutchen has had a great game.
He has, both offensively and defensively, as that ball falls incomplete. And that'll bring up a second down and 10. Fairview still with 2 timeouts remaining here in the fourth quarter, with 1:23 to go.
Yeah, I mean, the Bison should pull this off, but there's still a chance. And Fairview, like I said, the scariest team is the one that has nothing to lose. They're not going to make the playoffs, but they could definitely spoil it for somebody else.
Bennett takes the snap. Back to pass. He's going to throw towards the sidelines, and that is overthrown. That was Brady King, the intended receiver.
Well, and that's that big windup that I talked about and that big stride. And he tried to go quicker than what he was used to. He shortened his stride. He wasn't used to it, and that shot the ball up a little higher than what he wanted.
It's going to bring up a third down and 10 at the 34.
Wouldn't surprise me if you see another middle screen like they had before.
Absolutely. Play clock down to 7. Takes the snap. He's going to throw it out to the flat, and that is Nesbitt, and he is tackled in the backfield to bring up a fourth down and 12.
Yeah, Nesbitt just isn't the same player he was in the first half, and that's really helped the Bison.
Absolutely.
If he was at full speed, I don't know that we would be in the lead by as much as we are.
And I'm surprised they're not taking a timeout here. They're just letting the clock run, as they're only 2 possessions down. Fourth down and 13 at the 37. As we're probably going to see Nesbitt air it out here, or Bennett air it out here. And there's a pass up the middle, and it is broken up. I don't think it was intercepted, but broken up by Vomero, number 7, who is back in the ball game.
That was sorry, I jumped in there on you. I didn't mean to. That was just such a perfect timed hit. I was waiting for the flag, but he met the receiver at the same time the ball did.
Absolutely, and that was a good defensive stand there. As now with just 31 seconds to go, the Bison will be able to run this clock out and get out of Fairview with their 4th victory of the season. And this will move the Bison's region record to 3-0 as they remain undefeated in the region, moving them to 4-3 overall. Fairview is going to drop to 0-3 and 2-5 overall, as we are under 20 seconds to go, and Fairview is not going to use their timeouts to stop the clock, as the Fort Leboeuf Bison hold on for a 32-21 victory over the Fairview Tigers. And this was not as easy as they probably hoped going into it, and Fairview made a game of it in the fourth quarter, and the Bison are probably just happy to get out of here with a W.
It's really hard for me to believe that they played this well all season. I feel like they must have evolved as a team and gotten more comfortable and figured some things out, because they did not play a bad game. Did they have mistakes? Absolutely. But they were competitive, and they definitely were trying to use their minds. The onside kick, the surprise onside kick, getting the false starts, you can tell they practiced that. There were just a lot of little nuances within the game that Fairview brought to the table and made this a lot more competitive than what it should have been.
Absolutely. Yes, Fairview, off their victory last week, they came in fired up and with some momentum, and they definitely played a good ball game. But the Bison are getting out of here with a win, and that will set up next week's matchup against Harbor Creek. The Bison play Harbor Creek next week, who just lost a tough game to Girard last night. So Harbor Creek is 3-4 overall, and just 1-2 in the region. So next week is another winnable game for the Fort Leboeuf Bison as they start looking ahead to a possible playoff run.
Well, and I wish our mics were a little closer to hear the alma mater being sung with the football team, but alas, it is not. So maybe we can just roll right into the Corry Federal Credit Union postgame show. So what are some things that we are going to anticipate for next week? It wouldn't surprise me if Girard, after looking at this game tape, tried a few surprise plays on special teams, seeing that it works so well for Fairview. But most importantly, I think a lot of teams that are going to have to play Fort Leboeuf are going to work on that hard count, because they were just so susceptible to it tonight. It's really what kept a lot of Fairview's drives going. It was probably their best play, to be quite honest. And you're going to, when you go against good, talented teams, you can't be making those kind of mistakes and expect to win like they did tonight.
Absolutely. And that's, that's going to be a point of emphasis in practice this week, I can guarantee that, because they gave them so many free first downs by jumping, and the quarterback kept doing the same thing over and over again, and they kept getting them. So, they just have to be more disciplined and not jump early. And their defense is good enough where they don't need to jump early. They've played well, with the exception of the Farrell and General McLean games. Their defense has been outstanding this year. And so, they just need to cut out those defensive penalties, and they're going to be fine.
Well, and that's been the story of the whole season. When they're on point, when they're playing good ball and their heads are in the game, they can hang with anybody. They really can. They might not beat everybody, but they can make it competitive and make it close to the end. So hopefully we're reaching our peak. Did it feel like that today? No. It didn't feel like they're getting their stride and peaking at the right time. But we still have a handful of games left. Hopefully we can win a couple of those, make it into the playoffs, and we can just hit our stride at exactly the right time.
Yep. And with 3 games to go, Skylar Sadowski didn't get to his 212 yards today, but he I don't have a final total for him, but he probably ended up with about 150 yards today. So as long as he keeps running and they stay healthy, they're gonna be a factor in the District 10 playoffs when it's all said and done.
Yeah, when you have 10 games in a season, 1,000 yards is a really good litmus test to see if you have a good running game or if you're a good running back. And he's definitely going to reach that and then some. So they should take a lot of pride in that running game and blocking well for Sadowski.
Absolutely. And I believe this was his 5th 100-yard game of the season. So, 5 out of 7 isn't too shabby. So
No, not at all.
So that will lead us into next week. Like I said, they play Harbor Creek next week, and then Girard the following week, and then they finish it up with Mercyhurst Prep in a non-region game. So the next 2 weeks are their final 2 region games. They're already at 3-0 with a 1-game lead over both Corry and Girard. They've already beaten Corry this year, and they still have Girard left to play later on.
Well, and Girard has really good coaching, so they're going to be ready for us, and we're going to have to be on our A game against Girard.
Absolutely. So, yeah, if they can come up with a victory over Harbor Creek next week in a game that they, on paper, they're better than, that'll lead into Girard for the final region game the following week, possibly for the region title. We could have Fort Leboeuf going in at 4-0 and Girard going in at 3-1. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting couple weeks here to see if the Bison can keep it rolling towards the playoffs.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to us tonight. I hope we did a good job for you, and we can't wait to see you next week. Have a good night.
Thanks for tuning in to today's broadcast of Fort Leboeuf Bison football on the Sunny 105.7 Corry Federal Credit Union Sports Stream. Be sure to join us all season at sunny1057fm.org.
Additional support comes from Brozell Construction, Family Inc. Innovations, Leboeuf Creek Cattle, Waterford Beverage, Wagon Wheel Bar and Grill, High T Fence Systems, O'Brien Transmission, J.H. Napa Auto Parts, Jim Brozell Construction, Wise Physical Therapy, and Al's Appliance Sales and Service.